Alrighty, welcome back everyone, I am Blaze here. Today's video is the Bard Epic 1.5 Prismatic Dragon Blade, the full guide. Now, the Bard Epic 1.5 and 2.0 are available both in the Omens of War Expansion, which is 2 expansions after Lost Dungeons of Norath. So what is the Bard Epic 1.5? What is so special about it? It is the second item that bards have available to them that acts as all instruments simultaneously. It has a 12 modifier as opposed to an 8 modifier on the Epic 1.0. And it has a really nice clickable effect called Kinsong, which is a 6-minute cooldown, and it is a huge boost to your melee DPSers, your nukers, your daughters. It makes their damage output that much more effective. If you want a top parse on raids, you really need a bard in your group because of the 1.5 and the 2.0. Now, how difficult is the 1.5 quest? It's a lot easier than doing the original 1.0, the Singing Short Sword. A lot easier. Most of the raid fights are easily doable with 2 groups. Most of the raid fights I did here in this video was about a group and a half. Now, most of the time in this quest is actually spent gathering trade skill items, but fortunately most of these trade skill items can be bought in the bazaar. And on a final note, if you do the 1.5, you might as well do the 2.0 because it's even easier. It's literally just 1 raid drop and 3 armor pieces from trash mobs, and then you pretty much got it. So you might as well. And the 2.0 is such an even bigger upgrade, so just do it if you're going to do the 1.5. So the general lore behind this quest, it all starts in Awakening Lands with the dragon called Lantaric Dar, which is right outside of Sky Shrine. Upon recognizing that the bard starting the quest is eligible, he starts asking the bard to help out with grave robbers. So King Tormax of the Kale Drackle Giants, the Kromzeks, he wants to recover relics from the dragon graveyard called Dragon Necropolis for power, and you're tasked with stopping this. So the Kromzeks, they want to reanimate this dragon called Hisagra as a weapon, and after you foil the Kromzek plan, you are tasked with destroying this dangerous orb which contains this really dark entity. And there's a way to encapsulate this dangerous orb by creating a sword. So step 0 is you got to be eligible to do the quest at all. So you have to have either completed the first epic, the 1.0, or there's a 1.5 pre-quest that you can do. And once you have that first step of eligibility done, it is on to pre-farming certain items. So the only item that is no drop out of this pre-farm list is Dragorn Bloods, and you just need 8 of them, and they drop off of just trash Dragorns that are in Wall of Slaughter, and as well as in Noble's Causeway, but Wall of Slaughter is much better to do. And while you're there in Wall of Slaughter, you also want to kill these Discordling mobs because they have a chance to drop boots that are required for the 2.0. Next, you have Dragon Crystals, which you can forage in Skyfire Mountains. It only took me about 30 minutes to an hour, or you can even buy them in the bazaar. You want to buy Velium Bars from Thurgadin, and then all these last other pieces, the Fire Mephit Blood, Air Mephit, the Bubonium Blood, Alkaline Etched Stone, all these items actually come from Planes of Power drops from various different Planes of Power zones. You can buy these all in the bazaar, or if you know you're a bard and you're planning on playing 2 Omens of War, you might just want to keep an eye out for these and hold on to them. Step 2 is in Dragon Necropolis. This is a lot of running back and forth between Awakening Lands and Dragon Necropolis, so it helps to have a porter. So for the first part, you hail Lantaric Dar after you've completed the pre-quest, and it will flag the beginning of the quest where you go to Dragon Necropolis and you kill these mercenaries that are hanging around 3 different camp spots to eventually spawn a named Excavator Quellen, and once you kill Excavator Quellen, you will get a mob called Tarn Macklin to spawn, which drops the actual item you want, being the Cracked Dragon Bone. You return back to Awakening Lands and give that cracked dragon bone to Lantaric Dar, and you are tasked with collecting 3 different ground spawns, or you can kill dragon constructs. Dragon constructs are these trap mobs that spawn once you run over some of the dragon bones in that zone, and there's also these little treasure bags on the ground at a lot of these construct rings that have these items. And you can do this part as well during the initial one where you're killing the mercenaries, which is what I would recommend to do. Then once you have those 3 ground spawns and the cracked dragon bone, you will go to near the back end of the zone in Dragon Necropolis and turn it into Sagra's Shade to start a raid fight that really can be done with just one group. And from that you'll get a blackened dragon bone. You return back to Lantaric Dar, give him that bone, and then you have the last part in Dragon Necropolis, which is you get a raid mob called Vesthan to spawn. Now these parts, the way they work is if a bard is flagged as ready for these particular parts, the moment that the bard zones in, and so long as there's a cooldown as far as I'm aware of, these targets will spawn. So once you're finally flagged, you'll want to get about a group and a half down to Dragon Necropolis and kill Vesthan, and you'll get a Dark Orb. And you'll want to hold on to this Dark Orb even for the 2.0. You'll never want to destroy it. Now step 3, once you're done with Dragon Necropolis, you will want to go to the Temple of Sol Ro and hail Walthen. He is the NPC you actually talk to for the Lambent armor, and you say a few lines of dialogue to him, and it will flag you for the next part of the quest, in which you will go to North Karana, Jagged Pine, Swamp of No Hope, and Stonebrunt Mountains, and you're going to kill these dire mobs that just stay in one spot. And once you kill the dire mobs, it'll spawn a specific variety of a dragon that you can do with about 3 to 4 people. Now mind you, all these targets I did with level 70 group members. I was level 70, so this is really doing this content in era. Now these dragons are actually pretty long fights. They also do a lot of dispels, so expect all your buffs to get stripped. They're also super duper resistant to spells, so I would recommend meleeers over casters to kill these guys quicker. Now step 4 is you'll need to get an enchanter friend. There's a lot of enchanting here, so you need to enchant 8 Velium bars that you bought in Thurgadin. You're going to do imbuing. You're going to need 8 raw diamonds and have an enchanter imbue them with their respective POP drop. The list of all of these combines and the spells is in Alakazam. I'll leave a link to that. Then you'll want to buy a jewelry kit for no-fail combines later, where you'll combine the imbued gems with the looted and foraged dragon crystals that you got in the past to make dragon prisms, 8 of them. Step 5 is in Kithecore. So you hail Walthen in the Temple of Sol Ro to cause a flag on your character that will spawn a cloaked figure in Kithicor Forest. And this part you only need about a group. It'll start a raid fight in Kithicor once you hail the cloaked figure, of where you'll keep getting these waves of mobs to spawn until eventually you'll get a Shadow Thief to spawn. Just focus on him and you will get a Crest of Rizlona, which is an 8-slot container, and Metala's Note. And if I do recall correctly, I was able to mez all the ads. So you can crowd control all the extras. And what you'll do is once you have that Crest of Rizlona, you'll combine all those 8 dragon prisms in that crest. And for the last step, step 6, you go to South Karana to Valens Necropolis and you give him Metala's Note, and he'll give you a necklace. And this step actually has a little bit of lore. It's about a bard couple. Valen's a really famous bard, and he had this trainee called Metalla, who he helped become a very powerful bard, and for some reason or another she left him behind. And next thing we find out is she's trying to construct this weapon out of this evil dark orb. So once you get Valens Necklace from that turn-in, you're going to want to go to Plane of Torment, and it's not that far away from the entrance of the zone, and you'll find a bruised woman on the ground. You give her the necklace, and make sure you got everybody in position. You'll have a raid fight, which takes only about a group and a half of people, level 70s. You'll want to position your casters behind a wall to avoid the AoEs, and you just kill Metalla, the spawn Metalla, once you give that bruised woman the necklace, and you'll get a rusted bile-edged blade, a container. You just throw your Draconic Prism in that container, and there you go. Your 1.5 is done. Now, stay with me, as the next video I'll put out will be how to do the 2.0, which is a really, really quick quest. If you've done your 1.5, you should do your 2.0. At the end of this video, I want to give a special thanks to the many guild members in Midnight Rations here on the Mangler Time Lock Progression server, who, without their help, I would not have been able to complete this. Thank you so much to Tarene, to Ditz, Murrdur, Cromondas, Hitz, Covena, Skarrik, Wandor, and Elli for all your assistance in doing this. So stay tuned, the next video will be on completing the Epic 2.0, the Blade of Vesegrin.